Welcome to the Livia Werner frequency, a space where you are called to dream, where you allow yourself to become the woman you feel in your soul and are here to embody. It's about your truth and the courage to listen to it and give it space. This is your reminder of who you truly are. I am Livia Werner. My medicine is embodied wisdom, my stories. I am a line 6 and a line 2, opening spaces where it becomes easy to feel truth and transform shadow. I am because I am, and I share with you what calls me, what reminds me, and what makes me the woman I carry in my heart. Welcome to another episode of the Livia Werner frequency. And today I have a very special guest. Juliane and I share the same mentor, Melanie and Layer, and our mission feels very, very, very similar. It is really, for me, it feels like walking truly shoulder to her on the same path. Juliane is a transformational coach, mentor, and visionary leader guiding people back to love, truth, and emotional mastery. And the last time we spoke was in July 2025 in German, where our theme was, now listen, high speed evolution. And since then, that is exactly what has happened. I have goosebumps saying this. Juliane was, listen, featured alongside Melanie in the same magazine issue of Goss. And that's not it. She even appeared on a billboard. And for me, it really felt like watching a sister rise while walking next to her. So we both are guiding people, women, back to their essence, into their inner power, and walking with love and embracing the shadow, not trying to get rid of them, but walking with them. So I am, as you can feel, so excited that I can welcome you, Juliane, here again in the Livia Werner frequency, and it will be about your unique frequency. You have the floor.
No, thank you so much. Thank you for this lovely, amazing intro. And yes, it's crazy when you think about it. We talked in July and now we're here in February, only days before my birthday, actually. Like this time of year is always very special. So my birthday is on February 19th. When is your birthday?
On the 18th.
Oh my God, have we talked about this before? Have we? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Oh, I love that. And so, do you know, like, I want to tell you this. So, you know that you're an Aquarius.
Yeah.
You know that. So, I grew up thinking that I am an Aquarius because, like, in all the newspapers, like, especially, like, at least that's how it is in Europe. Like, the 19th of February is still in Aquarius. And so a couple years ago, I was in the States and I spent some time with a bunch of astrologers. I just happened to like hang out with this crowd, and they were discussing how my features would look like and how my hands would look like. And they were like, "Is this a hand of an Aquarius or is this a hand of a Pisces?" Like I cannot decide. Like they were all about it. And so there, I learned that actually, at there's actually one moment in time where in the stars, the sun would move from one sign to the next. So it's like depending on where you were born, and what time it was. Like there is a different time during the day where the sun actually goes from one sign to the next. It's not that on 18th it's Aquarius and then on 19th it's Pisces, or 19th Aquarius and then 20th Pisces. It's a moment in time when the sun actually switches from one sign to the next. That makes sense. And so I learned that 20 minutes before I was born, the sun switched from Aquarius into Pisces. And that's so crazy because during that time when I learned that I'm actually a Pisces, that was the time after my Saturn's return when I actually became a Pisces. And the first 30 years of my life, I felt like an Aquarius. I like all my qualities and the way I was leading my life and the things that would interest me, there were like no waters. Like I was all air, all head, all logic. And now, and then when I learned, just when I learned that I'm actually Pisces, this was also the time when I dove deep into my emotions and became this this feeling being and really reconnecting also to my emotions. And so I just found this so interesting. And you with the 18th, that's also like we're all right at the cusp. But I could not believe how much on the cusp I was born. It's like 20 minutes. Can you imagine?
And I mean, I can just imagine what an identity shift it was for you just when you heard this. What?
Yes,
Are you
yes.
kidding me?
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
oh wow.
That was amazing. And at the time, I remember I just had come out of an ayahuasca retreat, which had just ripped me wide open and showed me my truth and my path and everything. And then I had broken up with my boyfriend at the time. And then I spent I did this training for like somatic breath work in the States, and after all that, like I felt like a whole new human being. And then those astrologers tell me, and by the way, you're not an Aquarius, you're a Pisces. And I was like, cool, let's just begin a whole new freaking chapter.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And how old are you turning?
I am turning 38.
38. Okay. So you are now basically a 6-3 in human design, right?
Definitely,
Because before
definitely.
you were actually 3-3.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
Before, like, yeah, we
Mm,
all were at the first 30 years of our lives. We're a three, and
yeah.
then whatever our second line is.
Mm,
Yeah, but now I'm like kind of 8 years into the second phase
yeah.
for my sixth line.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And there is something I would love to dive in with you because I was reading your interview and you are speaking about emotional mastery. And last time we spoke about high speed evolution. And now with when we have this brand, this inner compass where we know where we want to walk with our future self, and we really do this high speed evolution of okay, I'm I'm just doing it. I'm going for it. I can hold pressure. I can expand capacity and so on. What I notice for myself, by the way, if you can't hear me good, I'm not sure if I hear something weird. Just tell me because of the mic. Perfect. I wanted to say what I notice sometimes when I do really bold moves, then I notice maybe after when I then have a moment to integrate or relax, or maybe I took a bath, or it's the next morning, then I notice my nervous system sometimes is kind of freaking out because it's responding to the old identity,
Mm,
right? And then I really need the personal power to tell myself I'm not my emotions, I'm not my thoughts. I can breathe. I am love. As you wrote as the interview was in Gauss, it can be it is a portal if I go through it to
mhm,
love, to wisdom, and still on the level of humanity, it can feel sometimes so really crazy sometimes. And I wanted to ask you because you are really committed to this high speed evolution, so I just can imagine that you know what I mean when we speak of these emotional waves, when they go from the high excitement, joy, peace to the lowest. And probably want to ask you this: you have a lot of those feelings, and is this just the way it is for you?
I mean, I feel like everyone will experience it differently. And there's like the nuances, but like there are things that, especially when you're so committed to growth, where you always come face to face with the unknown, with a situation that slightly overwhelms you, because that is the growth edge, right? And I feel like it's more so like it's not about getting rid of like the lows or getting rid of the freaking out. It's like, okay, just last week, I freaked out. I remember very clearly that I freaked out. Oh, today I freak out again. Oh, and I remember that last week I survived. And I also remember that when I like grabbed my chocolate and ate sugar, that was actually not good. But the week before, where I was also freaking out because I'm freaking out on the regular because I'm living on my growth edge. The week before, I actually took a bath and I actually went to yoga, and that was so much better. So now, because those moments happen so regularly, I can actually consciously build a way to be with that. And it's more that, yes, those freakouts happen. Yes, those little overwhelming moments happen. But I develop a conscious way and a actual, like, embodied physical remembrance of, ah, I am bigger than the freakout. Those freakouts can come, but and I embrace them because I know that, like, on the other side of that freakout, there's my new me waiting for me, and it's waiting for me regardless. So I can eat the chocolate. It's fine. It's just not great. But I can also just learn and just observe myself and see how, like, the way that I deal with the freak out will just like walk me into my next version of me in a more and more and more grounded way. And it's not going to be perfect. There are going to be growth spurts that are huge. When the gauze thing happened, when this happened, like there was all of a sudden, like it was like my universe like exploded into a bigger version all of a sudden. And then there are moments where it's like, oh my God, so what do we do with that now? And then again, like, okay, so what strategies have worked before? Okay, so now even though I feel like just sitting here and staring at my screen with big eyes, that's how I feel, what I want to do. But actually, I know it's good to do some breath work. Actually, I know that it's good to journal, even though I feel jittery and I don't. It's not really calling me because I'm kind of like my whole nervous system, as you say, it's like zzz, there's like a electricity in my body. But then to really learn and practice those grounding practices. And I feel like what we do on the regular, it's like we journal, we meditate, we do yoga, we do all the good things, and we do them while we're not super stressed. And so that's why we have them locked in when things get a little crazy and overwhelming in those growth moments. And then we have them and we know we can pull them in and we can rely on them because we have practiced in times that were not so crazy.
Hmm. Thank you so much for sharing this because actually, this was a recent breakthrough I had. I was journaling and then I was like, wait a minute. So, in my past, I was comparing myself so often to people around myself and all the time thought, why is it that I am constantly feeling insecure while they are staying confident? Or they look like they stay confident when you look just in society how most people live. Until I noticed, oh, I compared myself to people who are not stepping constantly with intention outside of their comfort zone. So I was comparing myself not with where I want to be or with people who are on a similar path. And it really hit me when I was realizing that. So, oh my gosh, it's actually so normal that I feel while I feel confident and in peace, I'm freaking out at the same time. It's so normal. So I really think it's important that we bring this up also in podcast conversations like this that mentors speak about this, that it's actually so normal that this happens because otherwise we are comparing ourselves with shiny people on Instagram and think,
Hmm.
why am I wrong? And for them, everything is perfect. But when we actually put ourselves into those rooms and we listen and we speak with them, we notice, oh, they all have the same. For people who want to go big, they just handle this freaking outs. So this would actually lead us to the conversation of personal power, because now you mentioned, yeah, now we would have, it's better to do yoga instead of eating chocolate, right? But still, even though it's so simple, we need personal power to also choose to do what's actually good for us.
Yeah.
And how do you notice how your personal power has this, like a muscle maybe, has expanded, has strengthened it? Because the thing that happened with Gus and you're seeing yourself on the billboard is really probably, in my eyes, in the field of miracles of potentiality for you, right?
Oh
So
my God. Yes.
how did you feel with the personal power? Did something
So
happen?
So that was, it was such an amazing a thing to happen, but for a different reason than I would have thought before. And one, as someone would look like, watch me from the outside, would perhaps also suspect. Like it's a great thing that happened for a different reason. And what I thought before, what part of me actually, to be honest, still thinks, okay, when these outside things happen, then things are great. And that's going to give me like a lot of confidence and like a boost and everything and all the things. And they do, but the boost, the confidence, the spike, the injection of energy is so temporary, so momentary. It's crazy. Um, so when the Gauss thing came through, I was like, for let's say 2 or 3 days, I was on a high. And I was like, is this really happening? Oh my God, can you believe it? Oh my God, what? Well, this must mean that this is the breakthrough and everything. Like, this was the high that I felt. And then at the beginning, I only told my very, very close friends and like my very, like the closest people that I have in my life. Um, because I wanted to protect the energy around this, because it was so crazy, because it was from the field of miracles. And I wanted to protect this energy field. And then though, when I told, let's say, the fifth person, I was like, huh, it kind of wears off. This high is already wearing off. This thing has not even happened yet. And so there, because I'm a six line, you're a six line. So whatever happens in your life, whatever happens in our life, we look through it through the eyes of wisdom. We look through it with wisdom. And so I observed myself in this whole process with wisdom. And I was like, so what's actually happening here? And what is this showing me? And now that this happened, I can tell, like, the string that is me, what Melanie calls the atemporal coherence, which is the me that I have always been, the me that I will be. And it's all connected through this atemporal coherence. Like we everything we will ever be, we carry as potential already inside. And the moment, the day that we live right now, that is what we consciously observe now because we're here. But regardless, like in the quantum field, we're connected to all the versions of ourselves. So that is the string that is actually me. And all the milestones, they are actually, yes, they happen to me, they're connected to me, but they're actually happening outside of me. And so that was such an important piece, that the Gauss situation, yes, there's a magazine, and yes, it's wonderful. I am so freaking honored to be in this magazine, to have my work linked in this moment in time. And I am so grateful. And it is a thing that is outside of me. It is actually not me. Yes, it is connected in a way, but it feels like an outside element, which it's like an ornament that is pretty to just, you know, ordain, no, that's the word, the wrong word, but to just these things that you hang on the Christmas tree. Like it's this little thing that just pretty on me right now in this moment, But what I am about, what my life is about, what I will be about, has nothing to do with that. And that goes with all the big milestones. That's with all the outside, um, what's the word? Bestätigung. Um,
Validation.
yes, validations. Like everything from the outside is, these are things, they can boost me. They can say, okay, yes, you're on the right track, and this is validation, and those are signs. That's beautiful, but they're actually not me. And so this was just such an important piece for me to realize that this crazy, 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 wonderful thing happened. And it is not a piece of me. I am me. And yes, I create these little moments in time, but the fact that I have been featured in Gauze, that is not building me. I have been building this, like if you call that building, but it came like it's a piece of my energy that has created this on the outside. But it's like the order of, I don't know if you can call it cause and effect. That's because we're magical beings. We're not in the realm of cause and effect. But it's like, what was first? What was there first? The hen or the egg? Like, I was first and I created Gauze. It's not Gauze creating me. And that's how I tend to look at these things of like, oh my God, look at this person. They have all these credentials. So that's how great they are. No, they were great before. And then the credentials just appeared next to them, but they're not even them. They're still great and they still do their thing. They still walk their path, but it's not the credentials that built them. It's the credentials are just a little flash of like, that's their signal into the universe. But I don't know if this makes sense, but it was just the realization that the circumstantial power, the circumstances, the things that happen around me, they mean nothing if my personal power is not in check, in power, grounded, and the thing that I really focus on.
I This is genius. I really loved it. And it reminded me about a divine dichotomy I really find interesting, which is, for me, at the moment, it is about the art of not having to be someone. The art of, I don't need a title. I don't need to say, hey, I'm this, hey, I'm a coach, hey, I'm a healer. I don't need this. And at the same time, this is a dichotomy. At the same time, similar truth, at on the same times, I have a vision of where I want to go, what I want to build, what mission I have. I have my personal brand as a compass. I am the one. I have a vision of my future self, and I know how I want to feel there, what's true there. Maybe there are some things that are true already yet, and maybe there are some things that I desire to be true. Then I do this inner work that I can also change my identity, my subconsciousness. So this really led me to this thought, this dichotomy, which what you now described. I mean, it's also kind of, maybe it's not the perfect word, kind of being a little bit humble to to have actually the personal power to stay, as you say, in the present moment, because otherwise, then we are excited, and also as exactly as also negative thoughts and fears can bring our focus outward. Also things like, yeah, I'm excited, yeah, oh, that's so cool, oh my God, I cannot believe it, bring our focus outside, which if we would not notice this, how you notice that in that moment, that the energy somehow, it's not feeling the same after telling it to the fifth person. If we wouldn't notice that, we would just stay outside and again lose ourselves in the validation, in the external validation, the orientation outside instead of where, our true essence. And yeah, maybe the other thing with these energetic strings, or maybe for me more like this, I mean, I loved how you described it. Um, let's say this goss thing, or for me, other things that happens. For example, when I had a concert with my band, where I had a similar feeling of it was so good, it was so good, it was so good, and at some point it was like, yeah, it was good, and the more I tell it, the more numb I somehow get, because it feels also when I'm building. I wonder if you had a similar experience here. Here now the question is building up. I wonder, when I notice, oh my gosh, I'm manifesting something, I'm building something, and I can feel inside of me, oh my gosh, now it's getting real. Now I feel it's really happening. Now I feel it's not just I tell people I want to do this. It feels like, oh, I feel it's on the edge of really becoming reality. And this is the moment. It also was when I was manifesting my dream partner or whatever else in my life, when I began to stop telling people, when I began to, oh, wait a minute, that's very sacred. I want to keep it here, sacred inside of me, because if I would now tell now, I wouldn't somehow not honor it. It's really subtle, fine distinction, fine change, maybe a balance we need to find everyone uniquely. How much do I want to be human and just tell you, oh my gosh, this happened, this was so cool, and how much do I want to honor the godly version I am, to just keep the energy sacred in here. Do you have also, as how do you say, do you also have experienced this, or yeah, where you notice, oh, wait a minute, there is something so fine, so sacred, I want to keep it here and not telling it anyone. Maybe also, I mean, for us in our work, it's also like it needs balance to notice, what do I want to write in the public on Facebook, and what do I actually want to keep right now in my journal for myself.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. There's a big difference. And I am someone who I have a tendency to protect my very real, close to my heart dreams and visions very much, actually. I would probably, I don't know. I could just like pay attention to this in the future, but see if I could actually allow myself to share a little more, actually, because I'm like very big on protecting what is going on and what I see is coming in my life. And what I what just came to me when you talked about this, I feel like when we're in a state like, or let me talk about me. When I am in a state of like, yeah, I'm manifesting this, but there's a part that is like, oh my God, this is really going to work. Like, really, really? Okay, well, let's just, go out and manifest loud. And then I'm loud about it. And
Mhm.
it's like I talk about things and still like only with my closest people. For me, that's especially my sister. And so we talk about it and we manifest it. But when it really comes closer, as you just described, I feel like the more true it becomes, the um the less it needs to be talked about
Mhm.
anymore. And I um I feel like when something really is true already, then it doesn't even have to be spoken anymore.
Mhm.
And then at some point, when it's being burst and when it's here, then I can then at some point talk about it in hindsight. But in this moment where it actually comes through me and into my reality, I also feel like actually now talking about it would almost disturb the field.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's a
Mhm.
very subtle energy, just
Yeah.
like you said. But it's like when kind of like the unseen rolls into our reality, it's like don't even look at it too hard. and let alone talk about it. Like, don't name it, don't talk about it, don't, like, to me that's how it feels. There might be other people, I don't know how this relates to different energy types, but for me it's like when it actually rolls into my reality, then it just wants to be left alone. And then one other thing I wanted to share, what just came through, is when I I worked with my wonderful, beautiful mentor, Priyanka Venkatesh. And she has taught me this thing where we connected very much with my future me. And I saw this great version of me. And so then I saw this great version of me. And a part of me now kind of froze. And it was like, oh my God, like I I am going to be so great. So now I have to, and it felt like in the future somewhere, I'm so great. And then I was trying to rise up to that level in the here and now instead of realizing that that's going to be a slow growth into this version of me. And so she was like, okay, can you please talk to your future you? Because there's a disconnect and you think something about your future you that is disconnecting you too. And so that's why you freeze. So talk to her. Like, what does she have to tell you? Because before I was like, well, I have to become so great because like the truth is like when I tune into my future me, I see myself speaking on huge stages to a lot of people. And so I was like, well, I have to be ready for this now. And so I have to become someone else, like someone great, 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 great. And so I connected with this future version. And all she said was like, girl, I'm you. And that was so lovely because my future version just said, girl, without you, I am nothing. And I thought without her, I'll be nothing. But that is the thing. Like we're already here. And with the development and oh, that's another piece that actually connects with what you talked about at the beginning, where we have those growth moments and our past self kind of freaks out. What Priyanka has also taught me was like, okay, so you're tapping into something new now. If you rely on what was, this won't make sense. Like there's no data in your past that you can source from now, but you have data in your future. So now just trust that there's data in your future. And then whenever there's a moment of, oh my God, what's happening right now? Just connect with your future self. She will tell you all that you have to know. And I love that because in the whole linear time thinking, there's this concept that we can only, connect and use the data that of the things that we have already lived. But no, we know that we can actually connect to our future selves. And so that's what I do now when I freak out, when I have little freak out moments, or just a reality that opens up where I'm like, oh my God, so what do we do now? And then I talk to my future self and she just tells me all that I need to know.
I really love this because this is exactly what I'm doing as well, actually. It's so funny that you say this. I really, and it's not so long ago, a few months ago, I began to just do conversations with my future self. It's so good. And yeah, I mean, I when I'm in the shower or when I'm in the car and I have my focus in the here and now, which is why meditation is good, right? And we do it on purpose. Things are coming through. And then whenever I feel this tight somehow or not knowing how, instead of asking why it's important for me or why I want to go there, there was a channeling coming through to me, and I could really name and really be. It was so clear. This is actually a channeling, because sometimes as a sixth line, I think it's hard to how do you say, to know which one is just your sixth line wisdom, which one is actually your something coming through to the channel. But this was so clear because I did a voice record, and suddenly I began to name myself very strict. Livia, you have Livia. And it was so, I had goosebumps. It was so good. And what she actually told me was, for whatever dream or vision or goal I have, it could happen today, it could happen tomorrow, it could happen next week, it could happen in a month, it could happen now, it could happen in 1 hour. So do the work now, do the work now, do the work now, do it now, 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 instead of, as you said, okay, wait, I see my future self in 5 years, so maybe I begin next year. So no, do it now. And exactly as I said, when I have the personal power, which, or when I decide I use my personal power, better said, then I notice also, we were speaking at the beginning about the tools we have, like breathing, breath work, yoga, whatever. I mean, the conversation with our future self is also a tool. When we notice it, oh, I can actually now, when I'm freaking out, ask my future self. And she actually helped me. I really feel in my own business like, boom, there is the next level. And also my friends are telling me, Livia, something happened with your brand. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much. And you noticed this. It is because I was having conversations with her, and she told me when I had like, what am I doing with those videos here and this and that problem? She was like, excuse me, we are in plot twist mode. And this was like, oh, yeah, cool. It can be so easy. And also, this 3-line energy I still have. I'm really diving in now. I had a scene session with Amy. I manifested a scene session with Amy. I mean, what the heck? And she told me, Livia, you are 28 next month. Next week, I'm 29. You are a 3-line. And I'm like, okay. Now I live this 3-line. I wanted to be a 6-line, but now I'm really enjoying that I'm a 3-line, because I felt like I didn't have the chance, because I didn't know that, to really dive into this 3-line magic with, intention. Now I'm going all in. As long as I'm the rising phoenix, I'm all about the failures. And here's, an next thing I want to bring up, and wonder what you have to respond to this. There was something I read about failure and success. People want success because they think, yeah, when they have success, right, then they feel XYZ, which is not true if we are not doing it for the right reasons. And I remember also you wrote it, this was also in your interview with Goss, where you say your definition of success, it's not about what you have, it's about how we feel, right? And that actually the thing that's most important is the failure, because only failure leads to success. Success alone brings us nothing. Imagine we only had success, it would be so boring and like, yeah, cool, I have success, yeah, cool. But if we have failure and we build up this resilience and this not making ourselves wrong for failure or mistakes, it's like, wow, here is the wisdom, yeah, plot twist, I have success, cool. Why do you have success? Hey, I don't want to talk about the success. I want to talk about my failures that led to the success, which is really such an important change, that we, you know, how do you say, that we don't put success or other things like money or whatever it might be, or whatever everyone has a definition for success, putting it on a pedestal. So yeah, what do you have to share about this? Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have to say?
Yeah, I also read this thing where it said very simply, failure is a part of my success. It's inside. It's not failure and success. There's failure and it's part of success. It's just so simple. And I feel like that is such a important and special 3-line magic that we bring to humanity. And I mean, all the lines have codes and very important energies for the whole of humanity. But I really feel like the 3-line is so relevant for all of humanity, because someone many years ago, that was actually funny. So I feel like that's how it felt, that the first time that something did not work out in my life, I was 24 years old. I felt that before, everything I wanted, I made happen, whatever. That was just that's kind of how I looked, how I viewed my life. Which if you would have asked someone else, they would probably have pointed out certain things that did not work out or whatever. But the only important thing is how I felt about it. So I felt like when I was 24 years old, I applied for a job, and for the very first time, I did not get what I wanted. And I was devastated. And I was mad. And I was like, why must this happen? I should get this thing. And then and then my dad, I remember, he has also said, well, it's good to learn to learn to deal with failure and to not get things like, it's good to learn this at some point. He said, he offered. And I was like, no, I should always get what I want. And then a colleague of mine, said something very wise, which stuck with me. And that was, just look at life. Life, with all the elements that are working there, is just too complex of a system. The system that is life is too complex. It cannot always work out for you. It just cannot, very logically. And at the time, Aquarius, I was very logic. And so I was like, oh, damn, this makes sense. So I guess still, I was very bad at dealing with it. So this was my first time when something did not work. And so with this, and I am a 3 line, and at the time I was a 3-3. So it's actually like kind of a miracle that up until this point, I had felt like everything has worked out, but whatever. I was perhaps blind. I don't know. But I finally woke up, and now I find that it is such a beautiful quality of the 3 line, and every 6 line has this, like, has to build this for the first 30 years of their life. Such a beautiful quality to model to humanity, that we're just here to play, to try out things, to fall on our faces, to get up, to dust ourselves off, and just keep walking. Now that I'm here, like, I would say in the past year, that's probably one of the most important pieces that fully landed in my body. It is not a problem when things don't work out. It's really not it is so much not a problem that I have trouble understanding how much of a problem it was before. How much I was afraid to embarrass myself, how much I thought, like, oh my God, how must this look on the outside with other people? Like, what would they think and everything? I don't understand how much I have worried about that. Now it's like, it is the most freaking normal thing to be human, to have things work out, have things not work out, and find your way. It is such a freaking normal thing. And I love that we, as the 3 lions, get to model that. And I had just have a I just had a conversation with Melanie just a couple of days ago, and she gave me a very important piece about the 3 line magic. And because there is this piece of me, and I don't know if you can relate, but so I'm the eldest daughter in my family. I am a 6th line, so part of me always knew, like, oh, there's wisdom coming through, and I love to look at the world through the eyes of wisdom. So I've always identified with that. And also, my dad was just someone who appreciated very much when I, was kind of like ahead of my age, acting ahead of my age, and like was able to figure things out and have like smart thoughts. And he's also very philosophical. And so, like, having like high level conversations, this was always like our thing. So that's where I oriented myself. And now, like, I kind of like like put myself like into the corner of, like, you must be wise all the time. And so what I brought to Melanie was like, well, I have developed such mastery in my field, and I'm so good at what I do. Why don't hundreds of people hire me? And she was like, well, what do you do? Do you just present how great you look while you're sitting on the mountaintop and you preach your wise things? That's not how she said it. She was very graceful and loving about it, but I'm reframing. But what she was basically pointing out was that I was just relying on my mastery, relying on my 6th line, being also just showcasing the world how great of a mentor and person I have become, instead of shifting the focus and saying, okay, let's go and be human together and figure things out together, and also show how what we now talked about and what you have brought forward, which I love, like everyone should talk about their becoming and not only about the polished end
Mm.
version. And the polished end version, we will never reach any polished end version. Well, that's clear. But we have moments in time where, like, okay, so as of right now, I can like really present this beautiful, shiny version of me. I can really, and it's true. But underneath the surface, there's still so much becoming. And to become this version, just yesterday, I was like this version and I brought myself here. So why do you only talk about the polished version? Please, and that's what she gave me. Like this was the important piece. Talk about how you have transformed this piece that was still like not in the right place, but then you have transformed it through your wisdom, but let people in and show them your becoming and be human together. And don't think that you have to be up here and then you have to serve the clients and the world from up there. You're a three line and you're human. Be human with everyone together.
Oh, that's so good. And I also had to laugh a little bit because when I was also thinking back of stories of my past, where I unconsciously failed, but now I'm aware. It's so funny. And what I wanted to say is, I did things that, looking back in hindsight, it's actually so embarrassing. It's like, why, why have I done this? But now, with the wisdom, with the lens I look at it now, it's like, who says, I mean, it's just an emotion, right? It's just the portal. It's just, maybe there is a shame, which can be, as Melanie also says, from the divine, a compass. But there is a piece I then integrated, which is simply forgiving myself. Like, actually, why do I think I have to be perfect, that I'm okay as I am, that I'm lovable? So this really brought me peace, to allow myself to just, hey, it's okay when I fail. It's okay when I do things that are maybe in the moment, in a minute, embarrassing. And actually, I'm just expanding the embarrassing, uncomfortable feeling, or whatever feeling it is, when I'm in freaking out modes. Like, then I'm thinking about unrealistic things that are, of course, never would happen, that would amplify the feeling I have. And the crazy thing is, if they unrealistic things actually would happen, I know I would have the power to handle those things. So it's so crazy. What is the other piece I wanted to bring? Oh yeah, when you were speaking about what Melanie told you, it reminded me, I don't know where it was, in which container, but she was speaking about the power and the courage. Was it in the experiment? I'm not sure. Yeah, I
Yes,
think
it
so.
was inside the experiment. Yes, we wanna walk in power and then with courage.
Yeah, yeah. This is kind of what, when you were speaking about what she told you, it reminded me about that piece of conversation she also brought. That when we have built wisdom as resilience as three line and wisdom as six line, we could rely on our power, as you said, and bring the wisdom in the polished version, which would not be courageous. So then actually it's not mentoring in lived experience. It's just mentoring in, yeah, I had an experience in the past, great. Instead of, yeah, actually yesterday I really freaked out yesterday as well. And in the mastermind, I am the one mastermind, with the peers of Alpha Femme. So many women wrote yesterday. I don't know what astrology wise, yesterday was a day. So many women yesterday wrote they are freaking out emotionally, and was like, hey, me too. And so, yeah, it's really interesting. Maybe so. I mean, what I then brought up is, I feel, it's the last day of the snake year until the 17th. It's like, of course, it's now coming amplified, because now we really want to look at the things and really feel things we really don't want to take with us to the fire horse. So it's okay like how it is, right? Yes, this would be my additional piece. So wow, Juliane, we have already speak an almost an hour. Time has rushed. Um, but maybe one last piece about your work, Juliane. When I scroll through your Facebook, I see yourself. I see your eyes very Edenic, very in universal love, very in Melanie says God zone, and I wonder if Edenic is your, your how do you say, your embodiment, your personal word for your God zone. Is Edenic kind of your version of how you walk in your trust in your faith feel? Is Edenic still a thing now in your world? Do you still launching this? Or do you have a piece about what you want to bring about this that people would be important for people who want to work with you, that they know, hey, Edenic is a word in
Mhm.
Juliana's world?
So Edenic is a very, very important context and to understand my work and how I understand us as humanity walking forward. So Edenic comes from Eden, from the Garden of Eden, and in my opinion, that is where humanity is going. And where I see us going in our ascension path is coming back to a state where we don't judge ourselves, where we have no human made guilt, no human made shame. Yes, you just as you said, like there is a sacredness to all emotions, and when we tap into their purest form, we can actually receive the purest wisdom from them. And so, for example, shame, when it's not shame put on us by others or put on ourselves through concepts that we have made up, then shame can actually come from our truest, like most loving part inside of us. And it just redirects us to where we are supposed to go from a divine lens. And so it's not that we get rid of any emotions, but we get rid of the human distortion that we put on those emotions. And the story of Eden has just very much fascinated me lately. I've also started for the very first time to read the Bible, which is a very interesting and hard undertaking, but we're doing it. And the concept of the Garden of Eden and how it all came to be, how we left Eden and what was Eden like, how was life inside Eden, and did it actually mean when we ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and all these things, they are in my world right now, in my understanding. And what how I understand the evolution of humanity is that we are going back to being a species that leaves the judgment up to God, leaves the judgment up to our wisest, most loving part inside of us, which is our God connection, our universal connection, however you want to call that. So it's that we don't look at what happens through our limited point of view. And I also actually had to think about this when you brought earlier, when you talked about how, as a three line or looking back, there were things that now looking back, you're like, oh my God, that was so embarrassing. But let's zoom out a little more. Like I am now thinking, like, who am I to judge that? I don't have the freaking full picture. And now I can sit here and like meditate for an hour and zoom out and zoom out and zoom out and try to get perspective. And still, I will not have the full picture. And so my understanding of letting go of judgment is like, I don't even know why this thing is happening right now. I don't even know how this is going to serve me in my becoming, or even as a crazy story that someday I will tell a group of people and then they will hear it and it'll unlock the most amazing things for them. Like, I do not have the full picture, so why would I judge? And that, to me, to get to a point where I am on my own journey, on my path, in absolute peace and trust and faith that everything has its place, everything is divine design. That, to me, is the Edenic way. And that, to me, is the future of humanity. And so this has become a whole energy in which I see my becoming, while at the same time don't forget to just be human now and like enjoy the way there, to go there, because that is a tendency that I had, which the conversation with Melanie helped me so much. It's like, okay, so how can I just be Edenic all the time? No, 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 no. The striving, the devotion, the going there, the orientation, that is the beautiful thing. And that is what I stand for. That is my code. That is what I offer to the world. That is what I offer to my clients. There's like a devotion. No one can take that away. Like every waking moment, there is this devotion. There are moments when I fall off the wagon, but then right there is the devotion to come back. And that is what I offer, but I'm still human and I am allowed to be that. I don't judge myself for it. It's never the goal to be perfect at all times forever. That's just freaking boring. We're human, we're becoming, but the code, the vision that I orient myself towards, that is Eden. That is the Edenic way.
Thank you so much for being a representative for this way and walk this way, be a mentor of this way. I love it. And what I also was reading on your page, but I'm not quite sure. Maybe you can also clarify that. I think you are offering a mastermind or something about universal love or something like this. Is this
So right now I'm
correct?
only this was in the past, it just
Mm.
happened. But right now I am offering one-on-one work.
Oh,
There are
perfect.
spots open, and what I love to do now is to have a real consultation call to actually talk about what's going on in someone's life and what they want to work on, and then actually tailor made, like tailor a very unique path and way, and just, frame to work in for us to work together what fits perfectly in the situation that someone is right now.
Oh, that's genius. I love this. Amazing. Okay, Juliane, do you have, before we end this, one last piece you would love to share with the world? Maybe if you, I think I also asked you this last time in the podcast. Actually, if you had just one last thing to tell humanity, what would you say? And then we can end with that you tell us where people can find you if they want to work with you.
So now I want to know what I answered last time.
Me too.
Okay, so if I have one thing that I can tell humanity, it's okay. It's going to be okay. We are on the right path. Um, the light has already won. Our destiny is inevitable. Our future is golden. And the only thing, regardless where we're at right now, regardless how much light there is, regardless of how much darkness there is, how much we're freaking out, how much we're satisfied already, how much we're still hoping, and how much we're changing and wishing and hoping for change, that is all part of the plan. And the only thing that's necessary is to allow this golden future to be possible, to allow the thought that it is possible. Just the simple thought of, okay, sure. It's possible. That's all it needs. And then a field opens and the light can just pull you where you're supposed to go.
This is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. It was truly an honor. And actually, I just had the picture of what if we do this again in the future. And then do you know Billie Eilish? You know, I mean, of course, who doesn't know her? But there is an interview thing with her on YouTube where you see she has every year the same interview, and then you see what she answered. And because we had just the thing of what have you answered to this question last time, I actually want to find it, and maybe I can do a post, a reel with what did you say last time, what did you say now. It would be funny. We will see what happens.
Yes. I love that. I love that. And then you also have asked, like, where can people find me? On Instagram and Facebook. Instagram and Facebook are the best. If you feel drawn to my work, then please, please, please message me, reach out, and let's talk about what's going on right now. And then we'll see if we want to move forward together.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much for being here, for listening. It was a party for me. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for having me, love.
Thank you for staying until the very end. It is truly an honor that you've shared your time with me. I hope with all my heart that this episode has inspired you, awakened something within you, or allowed something in you to gently heal or transform. And if someone comes to mind who would enjoy this episode, I would be so grateful if you share it. One of my greatest dreams is for this podcast to touch many, many hearts. If you want to explore my world, how you can work with me as a coach, mentor, or healer, follow me on Instagram at fulloflife or liviawerner.coachmentor. All links are in the show notes of this episode. I'm also on Facebook and YouTube, and I would love to connect with you there. That way, you won't miss any offers that might be just right for you. Or you can simply enjoy being part of the Full of Life community. Because this is my vision, my dream, that we allow ourselves to be fully alive and allow ourselves to dream. That's it. Thank you for being here, for walking this journey with me, for remembering with me to embody our truest selves. Thank you.